Percy Jackson and the Olympians. The story of a young boy who gets to know that he's the son of Poseidon and has to work together with other half-bloods in order to protect Western civilization from the evil titans. On the surface, this series may seem like nothing more than just another children's story, but boy would you be wrong! Because this is actually one of the greatest young adult novel series. Not only is it an interesting story on its own, but it creatively incorporates Greek mythology in a way that the reader learns while still having fun. This book series holds a special place in my heart, and millions of others too. So you can imagine how disappointed we were when we first saw the Peter Jackson films. But let's not get too negative, because even though that exists, we're actually getting something much better now. A Disney Plus Percy Jackson series, co-written by none other than the Percy Jackson author himself, Rick Riordan. And I'm hyped, and so are you, probably too. To keep up with the wait, let's go through several reasons why I'm personally really hyped for this upcoming series. Let's get the most obvious reason out of the way. Rick Riordan is involved. When you make a book to a movie adaptation, the author should preferably have some control over the production. In the end, he wrote the original novel, so he knows best. And that's exactly why the Peter Jackson films didn't work at all. Rick Riordan had no involvement, and the film producers did not care at all about the source material. I'm honestly surprised of it turned out as it did because, well, it's the same director as the first two Harry Potter films, but I mean, oh well. The reason I'm most hyped for this series though is because, well, it's a series. It's a pretty commonly known fact that the book is almost always better than the movie. Why? Well, excluding the fact that movies force their view of the universe upon you instead of letting you imagine it, books have no length maximum. Movies can only be as long as 2 to 3 hours due to so many more people being involved and requiring their payment. As a result, a lot of information can get left out from the books. But that's not the case with a series. You know why series are a much better way to adapt the books onto the big screen than with movies? Because they're so much more similar to each other structurally. A book series is typically divided by books, which are then further divided by chapters. And series are divided by seasons, which are divided by episodes. See, it's far more fit. You can't say that for a movie. Rarely can you fit a book of 300 to 500 pages into just a measly 2-hour-long movie. It's part of why the Peter Jackson movies are awful, but it's also part of why the Harry Potter movies are only half as good as the books. As said, series are much more structurally similar. And would you know what? The series is actually to be comprised of 5 seasons, with each representing one book. And that's just the first sign that this series is most likely to be poured with love and care. And lastly, another reason I'm so hyped for this series is just because Percy Jackson is made to be on the big screen. Percy Jackson is amazing in book form, but imagine the potential. These books have a ton of action scenes. Heck, almost half of the entire 5th book is action scenes. Action scenes are made to be seen with your own eyes. I know for me at least, I have a bit of trouble visualizing battle scenes in my head. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it's a bit difficult to imagine 100 things happening at once. And it's especially difficult with Percy Jackson for me, which has an action sequence happening every other chapter. This does, however, have so much potential to work on the big screen. They wasted it on the so-called movies we got a decade ago, but hey, we have a second chance with this hopefully wonderful series. Honestly, what is there to fear? The author is part of the team, the series format is better for adaptations. It's bound to be remembered as one of the greatest big screen adaptations of a book series of the entire decade. Please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell as I talk about the Percy Jackson universe until the long-awaited release date of this series, whenever that is. On my channel, I'm going to be talking about as much Percy Jackson content as I can with you guys, from reviewing the books, to ranking characters, etc. But all that's for another video, so subscribe while you can. With that being said, I'm signing off.